that heaven begins to speak. The world calls it rejection. God calls it selection. You see, man looks at faces, but God looks at foundations. When people pass over you, they only see the surface, but God sees the structure He's been building in secret. Rejection is not a verdict. It's often a veil, hiding divine intention. The world may reject what it cannot understand. Just as rough stones are discarded before the jeweler sees their brilliance, so too are hearts refined in obscurity before their glory shines. Every season of rejection trains your spirit to rely not on recognition, but revelation. No crowd ever elected a prophet, and no audience ever appointed a savior. When God calls you, He doesn't consult the opinions of men. He chooses in secret and manifests in time. So, do not despise the hidden years. They are not punishment, they are preparation. When David was tending sheep, no one saw a king, but God did. While others were being celebrated, he was being shaped. Hiddenness is heaven's classroom. Silence is God's language of shaping. The unseen battles you fight today will equip you for visible victories tomorrow. The crowd applauds the popular. Heaven crowns the faithful. When the world turns its back, it's often because your back is turned toward destiny. Do not measure your purpose by the world's recognition. Your calling was written in eternity, not printed in headlines. If Joseph had not been betrayed, he would never have reached the palace. If Jesus had not been rejected, redemption would never have been revealed. So let rejection refine your direction. The no of man is often the echo of a greater yes from heaven. To be chosen is not to be comfortable. It is to be called. It means walking a narrow road, often misunderstood, often alone. But know this, isolation is not abandonment, it is divine alignment. You are not forgotten, you are being formed. You are not the result of man's approval, but of divine intention. The world may close its doors, but heaven has already opened its heart. So walk boldly in your rejection, for it may just be the proof that you are chosen. Rejection is not the end. It is often the beginning of a new direction that you could never have imagined. When people turn away from you, it can feel like a door has slammed shut in your face, leaving a painful echo in your heart. Yet in the eyes of God, what the world calls failure, He calls preparation. Every person who has been great in history faced seasons where they were overlooked, underestimated, or even despised. It is in these moments of solitude and silence that character is built, faith is strengthened, and resilience is formed. Human society tends to measure worth by applause, recognition, or immediate success, but God's measure is entirely different. He looks beyond the crowd, beyond the opinions, beyond the noise of judgment, and focuses on the potential within you. Often, the people who reject you are unable to see what you are becoming. They only see the present moment, the imperfect version of yourself, or the part of your journey that is not yet fully revealed. But God sees the finished masterpiece that is being carefully crafted. Feeling rejected can push you to look inward, to refine your skills, to strengthen your mind, and to develop the discipline that you will need for your purpose. Every no you receive is a chance to redirect your energy, to reassess your priorities, and to realign your steps with your true calling. Human beings naturally seek approval from others because we are social creatures, but reliance on human validation can be dangerous. It makes you vulnerable to discouragement when people fail to recognize your worth. When you understand that rejection does not define your value, you begin to rise above the opinions of men and anchor your identity in something much deeper. The pain of being turned away is temporary, but the growth it produces can last a lifetime. Even the harshest criticism or coldest dismissal can serve as a mirror, showing you where improvement is needed, teaching you patience, and revealing strength you never knew you had. Society may label rejection as failure, but in God's perspective, it is often the first step toward His highest plans. Each time the world overlooks you, it creates a space where divine opportunity can enter, a space where preparation happens quietly, unseen, but powerfully. Your heart, your mind, and your spirit are being trained for greater responsibility, greater impact, and greater fulfillment than mere human recognition could ever offer. Rejection is not punishment, it is refinement, shaping you into someone who can handle the blessing that is coming. God's choice is independent of the world's opinion, and this truth can change the way you see every moment of doubt and dismissal. People will judge, criticize, and overlook you because they are limited by what they can see, understand, or imagine. Society often celebrates what is popular, visible, and easy to measure, but God's vision goes far beyond appearances. He chooses people not because of their status, popularity, or immediate accomplishments, but because of their hearts, their potential, and their faithfulness. Human opinion is fleeting and unreliable. It shifts with trends, moods, and misunderstandings. What the crowd praises today, it may reject tomorrow, and what the world dismisses now, God may exalt later. Many have walked through life weighed down by the rejection of others, not realizing that divine selection does not require public approval. Even when your efforts go unnoticed or your talents are underestimated, God sees the work you are doing in secret, the discipline you are building in silence, and the integrity you are holding when no one is watching. Human beings naturally crave recognition because we are wired for social validation, but relying solely on it can leave your spirit fragile and your confidence unstable. When you anchor your identity in God's approval, rather than the fleeting judgment of people, you gain freedom to pursue your purpose without fear of rejection or ridicule. Throughout history, the most impactful individuals were often ignored or misunderstood by society before they were chosen for their calling. What the world considers a mistake, God may consider a necessary step in preparing you for greatness. The opinions of others are like clouds passing across the sun. They may obscure the light temporarily, but they cannot stop it from shining. Even when doors close, even when friends turn away, even when opportunities seem lost, God's choice remains constant. He is not influenced by gossip, public opinion, or societal pressures. His perspective is eternal, seeing the bigger picture that the human eye cannot comprehend. While society measures success by immediate results, God measures readiness by character, perseverance, and faith. Your value is not determined by likes, accolades, or acceptance, but by the divine purpose written in your life. The world may misunderstand you, criticize you, or reject you, but God's choice is unwavering, and it is that choice that determines the true direction of your life. Hidden seasons create holy strength, and it is often in these quiet, unseen moments that your greatest power is formed. Life does not reveal everything at once, and many of the most significant lessons come when no one is watching. Society tends to celebrate instant results, visible success, and public recognition, but true growth often happens in solitude. While others are chasing applause and approval, you may find yourself in a season of waiting, learning, and refining. These hidden seasons are not empty. They are filled with opportunities to develop patience, resilience, and discipline. When you face challenges alone, you learn to rely on inner strength rather than external validation. Human beings are social creatures, and rejection can feel isolating. But in that isolation, your character is strengthened. It is in the silence that you discover who you really are, what you are capable of, and how deeply your faith can sustain you. The world may see waiting as stagnation, but God sees preparation. He uses these quiet periods to teach lessons that success and recognition cannot. Every obstacle you face, every closed door, every moment of loneliness is shaping you for the responsibilities and opportunities that lie ahead. Many of history's greatest leaders, thinkers, and change makers spent years in hidden labor, developing skills, cultivating wisdom, and building resilience before stepping into the spotlight. Human society often undervalues the unseen work because it is not immediately rewarded, but God honors it. The strength gained in hidden seasons becomes your foundation when challenges increase and temptations arise. It teaches you humility, dependence on God, and the power of perseverance. Waiting quietly also teaches discernment, helping you distinguish between what is fleeting and what is eternal, between superficial approval and divine purpose. The hidden season allows you to practice obedience without recognition, faith without applause, and patience without immediate reward. Every trial you endure, every moment of invisibility, and every challenge you face in these unseen times is building endurance, shaping your vision, and preparing your heart for greater responsibilities. Human beings often fear being overlooked or forgotten, but these hidden moments are where the seeds of greatness are planted. When the time comes for your purpose to be revealed, you will carry a strength that no immediate success could ever provide, a depth of character forged in the quiet, unseen, and often lonely preparation of life. Your worth is measured by calling, not applause, and understanding this changes how you face the world every day. Society constantly bombards us with comparisons, rankings, and standards that are designed to make us question our value. People celebrate popularity, wealth, and immediate success, but these are fleeting and often misleading. True worth is not determined by how many people notice you, how many likes you receive, or how loudly the world praises you. It is measured by the purpose and calling God has placed in your life. Many people spend their entire lives chasing validation from others, only to find that approval is temporary and unreliable. Human beings naturally crave recognition because it feels like security. But when recognition is absent, it can make the heart feel small and insignificant. When you anchor your identity in calling rather than applause, you gain freedom to pursue meaningful work without fear of judgment or rejection. Your impact is not defined by immediate results, but by the faithfulness with which you fulfill your role, no matter how unseen it may be. History is filled with examples of those whose value was invisible to the world at first but undeniable to God. People who were mocked, dismissed, or overlooked often carried out tasks that changed history, healed nations, or inspired generations. The world may celebrate the loud and flashy, but God honors the faithful, the diligent, and the obedient. Human society often confuses visibility with significance, but true significance is rooted in the alignment between your actions and your purpose. Every effort, skill, and talent you develop in obedience to your calling adds to your value, even if no one else notices. Waiting quietly, working diligently, and persevering faithfully in your purpose builds a legacy that applause cannot measure. Even when others fail to see your contributions, every small step taken in alignment with your calling is recorded in eternity. The temptation to measure yourself by popularity or approval is strong because humans are wired for social acceptance, but spiritual and personal worth comes from within and from God's perspective. When you focus on your calling, you begin to understand that rejection does not diminish your value. Criticism does not define you, and indifference from the world does not determine your impact. The work you do in alignment with your purpose carries eternal significance and lasting influence, far beyond the fleeting opinions of people, and it ensures that your worth is grounded in meaning, not mere recognition. Every no from man can be a yes from God, and learning to see rejection through this lens can transform your perspective on life. Human beings are wired to fear rejection because society teaches us that acceptance equals success and approval equals value. When opportunities are denied, relationships fail, or doors close unexpectedly, it can feel like a personal failure or a permanent barrier. Yet, often what the world calls a closed door is actually a redirection towards something far greater. People reject what they do not understand, and sometimes they cannot see the potential that God has placed within you. Every time you face denial, disappointment, or dismissal, it is an invitation to trust a higher plan. History shows us countless examples of individuals who were rejected by people yet chosen by God for extraordinary purposes. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, and sold into slavery. But every rejection led him to the position where he could save nations from famine. Jesus was rejected by his own people, despised and overlooked, yet through that rejection, the greatest message of salvation was revealed. Rejection often forces reflection, resilience, and refinement. It pushes you to evaluate your goals, your methods, and your direction. While society may view a no as failure, God can turn it into an opportunity for growth, learning, and preparation. Human beings often measure success by immediate results, social recognition, or external rewards, but spiritual and long-term success frequently comes through patience and endurance in the face of opposition. Each time the world turns away, it may be redirecting you to a path that is better suited for your gifts, your calling, and your destiny. The pain of being rejected can feel heavy and discouraging, but it carries lessons that comfort, privilege, or easy acceptance could never teach. It strengthens character, deepens faith, and builds perseverance. Society often misunderstands timing because it focuses on short-term outcomes, while God's timing aligns with purpose, readiness, and divine strategy. A no today may protect you from harm, prepare you for a greater responsibility, or position you in a place where your influence will multiply. Learning to trust that every rejection has meaning requires patience, faith, and perspective, but it empowers you to rise above discouragement and see the hidden yes behind the door that has been closed by men. Rejection is not an end, it is a signal of redirection, a chance to align with God's plan, and a powerful step toward the fulfillment of your destiny. Being chosen by God means being set apart, and this distinction carries a purpose that often goes beyond human understanding. Society teaches conformity, rewarding those who follow trends, fit in, and seek approval, but God's selection is never based on fitting in. To be chosen is to walk a path that may be different, challenging, and sometimes lonely. It often requires courage to stand firm in your convictions when the crowd disagrees or misunderstands. Human beings naturally seek belonging and acceptance, and being set apart can feel uncomfortable because it challenges that instinct. Yet, it is in this separation that true purpose begins to take shape. Being chosen does not guarantee comfort, applause, or immediate success. Many of the greatest individuals in history were misunderstood, underestimated, or opposed precisely because they were walking a path that others could not see. This path is often narrower, demanding perseverance, resilience, and faithfulness in ways that ordinary paths do not require. Society may mistake being set apart for failure or isolation, but in God's eyes it is a sign of preparation for a higher calling. Those who are chosen are equipped to influence, lead, and impact in ways that ordinary conformity could never allow. The challenges and trials that come with being set apart refine character, strengthen resolve, and cultivate wisdom. Human sociology shows that people often fear what they do not understand and resist those who break from the norm, making rejection a common companion for those God chooses. However, this rejection is not a punishment. It is an affirmation that you are walking a path of distinction, one that aligns with divine purpose, rather than human expectation. Being set apart allows you to see life through a different lens, to focus on long-term impact rather than immediate recognition, and to develop qualities that only come from walking a purposeful, sometimes lonely journey. While others chase popularity, convenience, or approval, being chosen calls you to pursue obedience, integrity, and alignment with your destiny. Your influence will not always be visible immediately, but it will be significant, lasting, and meaningful. The separation that comes with being chosen prepares you to handle responsibility, wisdom, and authority that the world cannot fully understand or appreciate. It is in this set-apart journey that God molds you into someone capable of fulfilling a purpose far greater than mere human recognition could ever achieve.